the meeting. Okay, let me start first the materials. Okay. Good evening, Diane and Nora. Today we are talk about the fintech solutions. After we learn about the several weeks about the fintechs like the fintech teams, and the last meeting we recall the memories about the fintech hubs. We learn about the London fintech hubs as our leader in the fintech industry, and then we learn about the Singapore fintech hub because this is the first and the biggest in South Asia. We also learn about the fintech in Indian hubs, and also with the Vienna in Austria. Okay, sorry. Oh, educational trips. Okay, thank you for the information. Okay, and now we will talk about the fintech solutions. What is the fintech solutions? Fintech solution is a combination about the fintech programs that countries or cities has offering to the governments and also with the citizens. And now we are recalling about what fintech industry or the financial technology industry offering to customers. As we learned from the previous meetings, fintech is a program or is on the industry that will be compile and connecting about business to the business, or we call B2B solutions or B2B connections. Besides the business and the business, they have some informations, they have the new technology, and they have the different payment system. They are connecting with the new solutions offering by the financial technology industry. So the fintech industry will have some solutions about the financial services. They are creating about the new programs or the new services in financial industry, and then they also change about the trading decisions from the real decisions, the trading decisions become to the digital trading decisions. And for the next of the changing between B2B solutions, we are learning about the disruptive business model. The business model has been changed after we learn about the history of the fintechs. We starting, if you remember, we starting in the 1930 about the first invention of banking system. They are invent about the credit card, and then for the last 30 years, they are going to the digital, and now we have some of more of the changing about the business models. So the business model is based on the digital, and we are called about the digital savvy customer. And now, what is the process that fintech offer to us? We learn about the transaction in e-commerce, not only in the commercial business. We talk about the e-commerce or electronic commerce. The transaction is become complex, lots of digital transactions, lots of digital bidding, and lots of digital payment service. They make some payments problems, because in a daily transactions, it's not only 10 or 20 transactions, it become 1,000 transactions in a day. So it make the system is broken. So the business or the financial industry is facing about dynamics payment. We called about the credit card payment. Maybe we learn about the PayPal, the Apple Pay, some with the Google Pay. And in Indonesia, we learn about the GoPay or the Gojek transactions, also with the OVO and the Dana, like you learn in the Indonesian module. And then we are facing about the dynamics platform payments. The dynamic platform payment is combinations between the core banking system, because they are offering or they have ensuring about the safe and secure transactions. The transactions between the business and customer will be meets and exceeds about the banking standard, and they are connecting with the bank regulator. In Indonesia, we call Indonesian bank, but maybe in your countries, it's the State Bank of Philippines. And then the second elements of the dynamic payment platform is about the data. The rich data attachment is comes from the business, and they are adapting with the dynamic payments. Sometimes they are taken from the digital transaction, sometimes for the real transactions. And with this data and the banking system, they are integrated in the workflow, and we call the smart payment system or digital payment system, like the QR codes. If we learn in the first meeting on and the second meetings, we learn about the generation of QR codes, quick response codes, and also with the barcodes payment. And now we are facing about the real-time payments, like using the digital transfer, not only with the automatic teller machines. We are using the digital transfer like e-banking or mobile banking. And now the progress of the payment system will be complex, and in the next few years, maybe in the 5 or 10 years, the system payment will be challengings, and maybe they have facing some of disruptions, not only in the systems, but maybe in the payment process, or maybe in the kind of the transactions. So starting with the payment, they have some innovations we call the point of sales or post innovations. These innovations is consists of the three pillars of financial transactions. It could be comes from the customer. They want we learn about the demand and the supply of the customer. They need a bank standards, new the bank standard, and maybe they need a new mobile payments that can easily pay for everywhere. And the bank also, as the second pillars, is also make some new innovations about the digital transactions. It's not only for the customer comes to the office, or maybe with the creating about the paper and the bank transactions. They are using the digital transactions or e-wallets. And the merchants also changing or adapting with the new innovations. They only mix with the credit card innovations, the credit cards payment, or maybe with the QR payments. Now we are facing it, but lots of QR codes that has been offered by the merchants, any merchants, using maybe using QRIS, or maybe using the transfer, and they are connecting between the customer, the bank, and the merchant. So customer doesn't need the approval from the banks. They only scan the QR codes, and the payment is clear. That between customer and the banks, the merchant is having the different transaction and the different recognitions about the financial transactions between the customer and merchants. They are don't thinking about the uh, very prerequisites, or maybe with the barrier from the bank or the customers. So with these three pillars of financial transactions, we know about the connections between B2B and B2C, business to business, between the companies to companies, between store to store. As known, we know where the store can be make some payment with another stores. And then the connections data is will be connecting between the business to customer, or we call it B2C. So in the starting point, fintech is only connecting between B2B, but now they are make some explorations. We are connecting about the business to customer. And for the next connections, they are linking about the C2C, the customer, from customer to customers. This is the new inventions in current payment system, or maybe in the current fintech technology. And in the last of uh, the innovations, now they can make some predictive analysis for the small business. We talk about the small micro enterprises, or in Indonesia we call UKM, usaha mikro kecil dan menengah. So the fintechs not only provide applications or provide service about the financing in the big companies, or a big store, or maybe the big business. They also provide analytics and some offering with the service, financial service from the micro business or small business. So At the alls, the payment and the point of sales innovations is coverage about the big companies to the small and micro companies. In Indonesia, we still have the micro companies. I don't know in the Philippines, maybe in your country, they have the difference segmentation of the markets. And I learned about the Fintech Association in Philippines. They only coverage about the small business, not to the micro business. Okay, that's our conclusions about the fintech solutions that we offer by the industry, financial technology industry, and captured by our three pillars: the customer, the bank, and the merchants. Before I continue about your test preparations, do you have any questions, Diane?
Sir, about the business to business
Yes.
transactions, how is it different from business to consumers transactions?
Okay, a good questions. What is the difference between B2B and B2C? Okay, business to business is connecting about the business, one business to another business. Let's make some assumption, or you can imagine that if you have some store of some company, you need to connect it with another company. Maybe make some order, like maybe you are in the let's say that you are in the financial industry. Maybe you offering a stock, or maybe you offering a deposits. You also make some connection and some bidding with another companies to make some investment. They are offering a price for the stock. Maybe this is the connection between your companies to other companies, not by your customer. It's that is the difference between the business to customer. While we talking about the B2C, it's talking about the companies offering to the customer. In Indonesia, we call different segmentations. The companies is sold a product, and the consumer is consume the products. But if we compare to business, they are also meet with the uh, between the producers. The companies will offering the product to the another companies. So they are sold not to the customer, not to the people, but they are sold to the other business or other companies. That's the difference between B2B and B2C. But for the next improvements, the fintech is trying to connecting between customer to customer. So customer can offer the products to other customer without they needs to creating some store, or they are not creating with some business. So if you doesn't have any capital, or we call it when there is the entrepreneur without capital, you can make some order to another customer. Because you are in the middle of the positions, you can make some lending for another business or another customer. Let's say in Indonesia, we learn about the success story about wet light. It's about the wedding organizations in Indonesia, and you can make some lending from these institutions. If you want to marry with someone, and you doesn't have any capital or any saving to make your ceremony or marriage ceremony, you can offer to the wetlight. Wetlight is offering about your lending capital, and you can make some installment up to 5 years. That is between the customer without any capital or any equities. That's the difference between B2B, B2C, and also with customer to customer. Is it clear, Diane?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any question?
None, sir.
Okay.
That was my only question.
Okay. Nora, maybe? No.
For me, is no, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Diane. Maybe I will talk about this summative test to the Norlin in emails. Okay. Next weeks we have a summative test one. In Indonesia, we call midterm test, or maybe in your campus it's called the midterm test. But I'm very familiar with this. Maybe it's friendly with we call it the summative test, because the test is make some summations from the first meeting until the last meetings. I need you to prepare about the presentation project individually. This project will talk about your knowledge and your learning about these topics. You can choose the one topics. You can choose about the fintech solutions for your small business. Maybe you can explore, you can describe, or maybe you can tell to us about the movement, or maybe with the new inventions, about the fintech technology, the financial technology for small business, not the big business, a small business. Or the
All in the
second,
Philippines.
yes,
In the Philippines, sir.
yeah, okay. You can make it's up to you. You can make from your country's Philippines, or if you learn about the Indonesian story about the fintechs, you also make some you can add some example from Indonesia. You can combine your knowledge. In Philippines, it's okay, and you can add with your information about Indonesian's fintech. That's the first theme. The second theme is about the payment solutions. I think the payment, if you take these themes, you only learn about the Philippine payment solutions, because I think you doesn't know lots of information about the payment solution in Indonesia. If the second themes, you can choose about the new information on the knowledge about the payment solution in your countries. And the last theme is about the fintech innovations. You can learn about the growing of the fintech industry in Philippines. You can find anything in the fintech association in Philippines. I have shown you about the website of the fintech association in your countries, or also you can add with the fintech innovation over the world in our countries that we have learned in the last meetings. We learn about the Austria, we learn about the France connections, and the Belgium, and the Netherlands, and the Luxembourg. You can make some innovation about their fintechs and try to explore with your knowledge in your individual presentations. Please choose the one topics, and you need to present your project, your presentation projects in 15 minutes in our next meeting. We still have the virtual Zoom meetings, so you can present Diane for 15 minutes, Norlin for 15 minutes in the 16 May. Okay, the next weeks, and in my countries is 6 p.m. GMT plus 7s, and maybe in your countries is 7 p.m. Okay, it's up to you. You can choose your of one topic. Not at all, just one topic. And please explore, and you can present in 15 minutes. That is the direction for summative test 1. Is
Okay,
it
sir.
clear?
This is noted, sir.
Okay. I will talk to Norlin or inform Norlin for with this email, and I need to prepare, or maybe I need to inform you one weeks before the presentations, because you only have 15 minutes in your day test in the 16th May or next week. Okay, thank you, Nora, for your assistance. Okay, I think that's for our preparations for the last 2 days. It's not the long class, because we only make some progress. We have learned lots about the fintech themes, hubs, and maybe with the emerging market last weeks, and the social impacts. And now we are close with the fintech solutions, and it's also recalling remembering with your materials from the first meeting until the last meetings. And you need to prepare about your summative test for next weeks. It's not for you, this is individually, because you are only 2 in the class, you and Norlin, so you need to prepare individually. And for the next weeks, you are presenting in the class. Okay?
Okay, sir. I have a question, sir.
Yes?
Are we gonna have a written summative test also?
No, just the presentation test.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Is it clear, yeah? Then, okay. If you doesn't have any questions, I think we are, this is the end of our meetings today. And thank you for coming early, Diane and Norla. Thank you for your assisting in the class. And I will also tell about Norlin about the next summative test. And I need you to remember or maybe remind Norlin again and Diane also about the next meeting. Yeah?
Yes, sir. All right, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
will
All right.
remind them.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Let me